Welcome to today's video. In this video, we will take another look at everything that has happened in the past few days, and of course, I will give you a clear outlook on which altcoins I am currently keeping a close eye on. A lot has happened, and I have also added some new altcoins to my portfolio. We will also specifically look at our US dollar portfolio, which we aim to scale up to 1 million after the bull run. I will provide you with a small update on that, and of course, we will also take a look at individual crypto projects such as meme coins and the OpenGPU projects, which I recently did an in-depth dive on. So make sure to stay until the end, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss opportunities like the last time with OpenGPU, which I introduced 9 days ago. We are currently seeing strong pumps again. Over the last 7 days, we had a relatively good pump upwards, around plus 30%, so it was a relatively good time when I recorded the YouTube video about the OpenGPU deep dive. If you're wondering about my background, I am currently in Cyprus, so don't be surprised. The upcoming videos will also be recorded from this setup. Otherwise, let's take a look at what has happened in the last few days. We are seeing slightly red numbers, mainly due to some fear returning to the market, with the general escalation of the Israel conflict, which has understandably unsettled some investors. However, I can only reiterate the importance of staying true to your own strategy. At the moment, we are also seeing relatively good support again, so it was actually just a short-term shakeout. I have the daily chart of Bitcoin here, where we saw a short-term sell-off of 8%, but we have already slightly recovered from that, and this is also noticeable in other altcoin projects that have also slightly bounced back. For this reason, we will take a more specific look at the altcoin market today, focusing on specific altcoins throughout the video. Here we see the total crypto market cap. This is a chart that I always like to include because it replicates the entire altcoin market. What we can clearly see here is the sustainable breakout, where this breakout occurred, and now we have finally received the retest. Therefore, in my opinion, the altcoin market is currently in a relatively good position. We have a relatively solid foundation here. It must absolutely not happen that we return to our old consolidation area, which showed a slight downward trend. That's why I personally am relatively optimistic that we will slowly but surely start to see a stronger rise with the altcoins again, especially because Q is always one of the strongest quarters in the cryptocurrency market. We can also take a look at the history of the cryptocurrency market, as there has never been a fourth quarter that has performed negatively in the crypto market. Therefore, the chances are relatively good that some altcoins will see increased activity again. We have actually seen that we have relatively good statistics regarding Trump versus Harris. Here we see that we had a strong pump last night in terms of the current statistics. Of course, we also need to be careful here. We cannot rely on such statistics to claim that it will be the same, but it is still a strong indication, and the market has reacted relatively positively to it. Therefore, we will also talk about the first altcoins shortly. Regarding the first meme coins, yes, I know that in the German-speaking world, meme coins are often discredited, and many prefer not to talk about them, but in my opinion, meme coins definitely have their right to exist. One can create some liquidity with meme coins, and then, of course, over time, shift into the truly solid projects. And that's why I would like to occasionally talk about meme coins here on my YouTube channel, because they indeed have their justification for existence. But I want to make it clear that I am not being paid by any of these projects. It is really important for me to mention this so that you are aware and not misled into thinking otherwise. Otherwise, all meme coins that now have a connection to Donald Trump will, in my opinion, perform very well until the elections. That's why I have also included some lean investments in my portfolio here. I have mentioned it repeatedly on my YouTube channel, so it's not just because Trump is looking better again that I suddenly start talking about Trump meme coins. I had told you about MAGA, and also about the completely different MAGA coins. Weeks and months ago, I had mentioned it repeatedly, so I really encourage everyone to watch the coin ranking videos. Here is also a meme coin ranking video. I had already talked about Trump back then, so it seems our bet is paying off. Over the last 7 days, it has almost doubled, and with the other meme coin, we had a 60% increase over the last 7 days as well, so everything looks relatively good. I also have my eye on a new Donald Trump coin, so a new meme coin in that direction. Of course, the one major coin that I have open here is the largest of all, as it already has the most liquidity to show for it. The slightly smaller one, which I also find very interesting, has a market cap of 65 million, which is nothing at all. And now we have here an even smaller one that is essentially just starting out with a market cap of 2 millions. I personally made a small investment here, just with pure play money. Be extremely careful, especially with a market cap of 2 million, as anything can really happen. However, I still want to mention it briefly because I want to play out the narrative. When I see that the big players, the major meme coins, are being reinforced in the political narrative of Trump and Harris coins, and if the chances look very good for Trump to win the presidency, then I can easily imagine that all other Trump coins will follow suit. We have a relatively good chart in front of us because we have a nice bottom formation. For this reason, I wanted to mention it in today's video, but as I said, I am not being paid. This is simply a short-term opportunity to create liquidity. As soon as I have 1, 2, or 3 times my investment here, I will also take my first profits or withdraw my initial investment. It is always extremely important to let only the profits run. Otherwise, we can take a look at what has happened in the past and what we are currently seeing. I try to mix some macroeconomic data, on-chain data, and altcoin projects in my YouTube videos so that viewers can see where the biggest opportunities lie at the moment and how I personally assess the market right now. We can take a look at what the whales are doing at the moment, which I find incredibly bullish. Let's take a look. We haven't seen such strong accumulation since 2021. Here we can see almost an exponential increase. We can therefore expect that currently experienced investors, smart money, and whales with a lot of capital are pumping incredible amounts of liquidity into the markets as they understand that the bull run is just around the corner and are positioning themselves accordingly. This makes it very interesting to observe how history keeps repeating itself. Otherwise, here is the liquidity cycle where we can see quite clearly that the central bank's policy decisions, which have been relatively loose with the double interest cap, will certainly have an impact on the market. That is why I'm so confident that the fourth quarter in the cryptocurrency market will be very positive and bullish. Therefore, we can also see the individual cycles here quite clearly. At the end of the day, everything here also works according to the principle of cycles, meaning everything happens in cycles. Otherwise, I have once again the latest statistics that I will present in today's video, specifically the recovery after geopolitical events. What we can relatively clearly see here, regardless of what has happened in the world, whether it be the Iran war, the COVID outbreak in 2020, the US elections, or the Russia-Ukraine war, where everyone thought that World War III would break out and the markets would crash, is that no matter what, and we also saw that a relatively quick recovery took place, and as terrible as it may sound, the market tends to forget such events quite swiftly. Yes, these are simply the numbers, data, and facts that are available here. How one morally categorizes the whole situation is a completely different story, as it only pertains to the context of the cryptocurrency market. And what we can observe well is that a recovery occurs relatively quickly, and usually after 60 days, whether in the S&P 500, the gold market, or even with Bitcoin, we already see green numbers again. And that's why I don't worry at all about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market just because certain geopolitical decisions are being made. So even if Harris wins, the bulls will prevail, in my opinion. That is beyond question. Now let's talk a bit about the portfolio, where we can take a look at what has performed very well and what has performed less well so that we can adjust our strategy a bit and perhaps you can take some inspiration from it. Of course, I should mention that this is not financial advice, but I think with such an example portfolio, you can relatively well observe how I personally approach my strategy. Because often, believe me, many other YouTubers just talk. They say they bought coins here or are doing this and that, and at the end of the day, they can't show any good performance. And for that reason, I also provide you with full transparency regarding my personal strategy. Yes, at the end of the day, this is just a demo portfolio. These are essentially just arbitrary numbers in quotation marks. However, I also don't want to disclose my personal portfolio here, but I can tell you that my portfolio looks relatively similar to this example portfolio of 50K. It's structured a bit differently, but here we definitely have the challenge of scaling it all up to 1 million. Here we have seen certain outliers, with OpenGPU up 44% since our purchase, which I really like. We also timed our entry into BitTenSor relatively well. Of course, Popcat is the meme, because meme coins are actually performing the strongest in our portfolio. We can take a look as Hoppy is over 220%, a good 3 times that we have already taken advantage of at this point. I also want to discuss meme coins on YouTube. Yes, I know that many German speakers absolutely dislike meme coins, but it is essential to engage with them, as we can't ignore a strong narrative in this bull run. And that's why I always proceed with my personal strategy in such a way that I invest a maximum of 30% in meme coins by 2025. Let's take a look, Hoppy. We perfectly timed the entry. I have mentioned it repeatedly on my YouTube channel, and all your comments were filled with enthusiasm. So I believe some members of my community have also seized this opportunity. I also ranked Hobby as number 1 in the ultimate meme coin ranking back then, so feel free to check that out again. Overall, I have been a big fan of Hobby. I also mentioned a potential of 50 to 100x in my ultimate coin ranking video. Otherwise, feel free to take a look here, and I am still very bullish when it comes to hobbies. Now we have to be a bit careful, as we have just touched the old all-time high at 0.0015. However, I still see extremely large potential here, as once the next all-time high is broken, a new price discovery will take place. This means that once an all-time high is surpassed, we have a new price discovery, and this will naturally be reflected in the chart. Therefore, I remain very bullish here. I really liked it, especially in my own portfolio. Otherwise, HyperGPT is also a project that I had mentioned repeatedly on my YouTube channel back then, which is why I wanted to briefly mention it again in today's video. A market cap of 17 million is also part of the AI narrative, and I will likely mention it more often in the upcoming videos. However, I am still convinced about it and am even partially invested myself, so I wanted to let you know. I've seen it repeatedly in the YouTube comments. Hey Vincent, what is your opinion on HyperGPT? Are you still bullish? Yes, I am, and in my opinion, there is a similar chart to show as with AI tech. So I think most of you have the chart of AI tech in mind, and here we have a similar behavior. We had a very long sell-off here, And now we have also achieved a breakout here, so I can well imagine that the bottom is in for HyperGPT. Very interesting project. Then OpenGPU, one of my favorite projects. I will be honest with you, it is one of my largest positions in my own portfolio, especially over the past few weeks, during which I have also talked more about OpenGPU on my YouTube channel. Especially in August, September, and now October, I had increased my purchases, and it certainly benefited us that I made the video at the perfect time when prices were under $1. However, in my opinion, even now there is still a very good price available. Personally, I would buy more of OpenGPU up to $3, and from there I would leave my position as is. However, for the most part, I am already invested, so I want you to know that this is one of my top projects, one of my top favorites, which really has the potential for a 100x return, just so you are aware. Next, the project that has performed very well, also in our own portfolio, is Smogcoin. I know it's another meme coin, but we have to acknowledge that meme coins have a very high relevance in this cycle. That's why I'm a big fan of Mock, which I have mentioned repeatedly on my YouTube channel. Then GLQ Graphling Chain has also made a very strong comeback and has performed very well in the last few days. And here we have also sustainably broken the trend downwards. Compared to other charts, I believe this chart is somewhat stronger because we have managed to hold our ground relatively well. We did not experience a particularly strong sell-off, which is why it is one of my top favorites. I've also mentioned GLQ Graphing Chain repeatedly on my YouTube channel. It's simply about being able to program without code. So, it is also an AI project that specializes in performing programming tasks using artificial intelligence without the need for actual coding skills. It is an extremely exciting use case that will naturally continue to expand in the future. Therefore, the use case fits here, the marketing fits, the narrative fits, and the tokenomics are also fine. The majority is already in circulating supply here as well, so we don't need to worry about inflation. Therefore, there is a very solid foundation here, where I personally see a lot of potential. Otherwise, what comes to my mind that has performed relatively well in the past few days is DI01 Labs, of which I am personally a very big fan. The only problem there is the tokenomics, because we currently only have 9% in circulating supply. In my opinion, that's the only red flag you send, otherwise everything else looks good here, and we also have a relatively strong chart to show with over 200% growth over the last month. So you can definitely see that this project is not dead, just like IT Protocol, where many also wondered if it was a scam or if IT Protocol was dead. No, it is not. Both IT Protocol and 01 Labs have delivered strongly throughout the long summer lull compared to other projects that have hidden away, some of which have not delivered in marketing anymore. But here I still see potential in the two projects. Compared to 01 Labs, we can take a look. Yes, we were heavily punished and have formed a very ugly bottom here. So, it was partly really down 70 to 80% from the top, but we have bounced back relatively quickly, and the chart at the current moment looks very, very strong. This also makes me feel very bullish again. We have a pump upwards here, everything looks very healthy, a consolidation over a few days, and then here we go again with the next pump. The volume is also very, very high at the moment. It is definitely very, very exciting to keep an eye on this project in 2021. I can only recommend that everyone take a closer look here. Of course, this is not financial advice. You know the drill. Then the next project, Spectra AI. It's been a very, very long time since I talked about this project, but I really like the chart here as well. We didn't see any significant sell-offs throughout the entire summer lull. It reminds me a bit of the chart from Signally, which is also a very exciting AI project. Here, we are dealing with an AI project that specializes in predicting the market. So we essentially have prediction tools that are based on artificial intelligence. The use case is very exciting. Of course, at the end of the day, one must ask the question, does this use case really find application? Can the tools really be utilized? For me personally, it has already made a relatively good impression, especially because there is a relatively strong community behind it. The core of investors who believe in this project is quite strong. For this very reason, we did not experience any significant sell-offs during the summer lull, and therefore I see a very solid foundation for the upcoming bull run. And as soon as the last all-time high at $3 is broken here, I can well imagine that a 10x could happen relatively quickly, because we must also recognize that this project is currently at a market cap of only 15 million, and the majority is already in circulating supply, making it the perfect foundation for a sustainable pump. Therefore, it is definitely a project that I will mention repeatedly in the upcoming videos. Otherwise, the next project that several people have asked me about is Winity, which is still in its early stages. Of course, we must be very careful here, especially with projects that are still in their early stages, but this is often where the biggest opportunities arise. Currently, there is even the possibility to participate in a sort of pre-sale of Divinity. It's very interesting, I mentioned it in the last video as well. There is a whole company behind it. So it's not just some project that was thrown together overnight. Partly, it is also a German project which I really like, so there is already quite a bit of substance here, which is why I wanted to mention it in today's video. Now let's quickly discuss a few projects. Specifically, here are some meme coins that I'm currently keeping an eye on. Please do not invest blindly in such coins. However, I want to show which coins I watch. I like this meme coin I see, as the chart looks very good. Well, I personally come from trading, so I can relatively well assess whether the charts look healthy or not. That's why the chart looks relatively good here. What we also saw was GigaChat, the meme coin, which had performed incredibly well. We can take a look at that, as well as on Solana. For this reason, Sigma is another meme coin that has performed very well. Let's take a look at it. It's truly impressive what meme coins are doing at the moment, so take a moment to reconsider your own portfolio. Are you really properly weighted in the individual narratives and sectors? It is essential to take care of this now, before the bull run starts, to ensure that you are appropriately diversified across the different sectors and narratives. That's why I have personally shifted my investments more towards meme coins recently, to be completely honest with you. Yes, I know, it feels a bit strange to invest in meme coins that don't really have substance and are essentially based on the idea that other people will buy the coin after you. One hopes a bit for the marketing, for the narratives themselves, but we must simply acknowledge that crypto is still very much in its early stages. The entire crypto bubble and many projects in general often just play with the narrative. Even many AI coin projects where one might sometimes think that the next revolution is taking place, which is indeed true in itself. It is also the case that a financial revolution is occurring here, along with many projects. But still, the narrative is often just played with here. And even when you look closer, some AI projects are not that different from meme coins. Most of the time, there is only a website provided, strong marketing is conducted, a vision is created for the investors, and it is claimed that with our AI tool, you will be able to predict the market in 1 or 2 years or something like that. So you really have to be extremely careful. And what many investors have noticed in the past is that with meme coins, you know exactly what you're dealing with. At the end of the day, it depends on the narrative, the marketing, the website, whatever it may be. Therefore, it is naturally a bit difficult to weigh which capital to invest in which narratives and sectors. But I just wanted to mention it. These are simply projects that I am currently keeping an eye on. Matt Fury is also currently a meme coin, which has a market cap of 2 million. It is absolutely super high risk, a 10 out of 10 in terms of risk, and one has to be extremely careful. However, I also see strong potential here, as it is a meme coin created by the Boys Club founders, namely Andy Landwolf, Pepe, and Brad. And if Matt receives similar attention here as the other Boys Club memes, then such a meme coin could quickly reach a market cap of 100 to 200 million. Then a 100x is not particularly unrealistic here either, but of course you should only invest play money, and this is not financial advice. Lastly, the project I wanted to include and will be discussing more frequently in the upcoming videos is Kadaiko. This is also a very interesting project for me personally, which is still completely in its early stages. Of course, one must be cautious here as well. It is a project that currently has a market cap of only 1.7 million, but there is still a lot of substance present. We have partnerships with Porsche here, and we have provided a tool that is based on artificial intelligence, which can take over CRM systems. So, in such cases, for example, when D models are being modeled, this AI tool can create these models in advance. Just like using AI to generate images, you can use AI here for D models. Incredibly exciting. I would recommend everyone to take a look at this. Personally, I am also partially invested. I made a detailed video about it. We can take a look at it. It's been a while since that video, and back then, some members of my community were able to participate successfully. We managed to take a good 10x. Yes, I know there has been a strong sell-off here, which is normal during such pre-sales, but still, the pre-sale was very, very successful. So I have also sold some of my position here, but now it makes sense again to keep an eye on it as soon as a bottoming phase occurs. That's why I wanted to mention it in today's video. Otherwise, that was it for today's video. I talked about some altcoins. Of course, you should also be on the lookout for really good projects at this current time, especially those that have already performed well, because they are usually the ultimate winners of a bull run that are already doing well now. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for projects that might be completely dead or anything like that, where you might think, yes, I can buy them cheap or something because they have hit rock bottom. One must always find a healthy balance between projects, especially ones like 01 Labs, which were heavily punished during the summer lull, but are now relatively quickly making a comeback. Yes, you really have to keep a close eye on how the marketing was done, whether they delivered, if the use case is still relevant, and if the narrative is irrelevant. You need to evaluate such projects based on all conceivable parameters, and only then can you weigh whether it makes sense to buy into a project that is struggling, or if it makes more sense to invest in open projects like 2021 that are already performing well and gaining traction. So one always has to weigh the options, which is why I manage my personal portfolio in a way that I find a healthy balance between projects that are still in their early stages, projects that have been heavily punished, and I also invest in projects that have already shown good performance. This way, I have a colorful mix and am well diversified in my own portfolio. I just wanted to mention that again. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I would definitely be very happy about that. Thank you also for the support lately. The views are steadily increasing, over 1,000, over 2,000 views. The likes from you are extremely strong. and the comments are very positive, so I am incredibly grateful to you. Therefore, feel free to comment and like in today's video, and also subscribe. I would say, see you again in the next video.